discretion is advised.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Noodle Wrestling Podcast After Dark. Stumbling over my words because I am so excited. We have another fantastic guest. I am so excited to get into this conversation because there is a lot to get into, from just like being a wrestler, a freelance wrestler, going to Japan soon, being a hardcore, what I would define as a hardcore wrestler, maybe, and we'll get into what the definition is potentially. But please, everyone, give a warm welcome to the Starchild, Christian Starr. Yay! Welcome.
Thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thank you, guys.
So, I would love to start with just like the basics. Like, how does Christian Starr get into wrestling? What was your first exposure to wrestling? How did you become a wrestler? Like the whole origin story.
Okay, so I've been watching wrestling since like I can remember, since I was like born, you know, my whole family watched it. Me and my brother would like play wrestle on my mom's bed, and just like, I knew that this was what I was going to do when I was older. Mm-hmm. Eventually though, I started going to school. I was kind of a bad kid, not gonna lie. I kind of stopped watching wrestling for a bit when I was like 15, 16. And then GCW, I don't know if you guys know what GCW is.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I started watching a lot of GCW, and I watched guys like Ninja Mac, who I just wrestled last weekend.
Yes, crazy.
Blake Christian, Alex Zane, all these guys. And it kind of brought my passion back for wrestling. And I was like, that's the kind of wrestler I want to be. And then I started training at Top Talent here in Edmonton with Harlan Abbott. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
I trained there for like 2 years. It was really good. And then recently I just switched to Clandestine, which is Love Pro. I don't know if you guys know what Love Pro Wrestling is. And yeah, here I am.
Wow, that's crazy. Were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
Did you find like, because I know like some wrestlers, like we talked to Wes Barker a couple like weeks ago, and like for him, like for him, he said like wrestling was not something that came like natural to him. Like it was like an uncomfortable like learning process. Was that like, did you find that was the same for you, or was it something that you just kind of like found yourself naturally able to do?
There was things that I was like talented at, like I can do like the flips and stuff like that. And like people always ask me like, did you do gymnastics or anything like that? It's like, no, I just tried it. You know, it just happened, you know?
That's crazy.
But other than that, like I agree with Wes. It is hard at first. And it's a constant grind. Like you have shitty matches all the time. I've had bad matches where it's like, I don't even want to keep going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
right.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have good matches, and it's like, okay,
wow,
this is why I do it. But,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm glad you brought up the like more acrobatic like part of your wrestling, because I was watching some of your clips on Instagram and some stuff on YouTube, and I even went like back into the archives on your Instagram, and like you even training like with the mats and everything, and I was like, how does a person like even figure out that they can do that? And again, I know that's probably an ignorant question because I am new to wrestling, but to me, like high flying wrestling that you kind of do is something that is so fascinating to me, because it's like, how do you even learn that your body can do that? Like you just tried it and you're like, that's really cool and I actually like it, or like it just kind of happened?
I mean, they call it like a high risk maneuver, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so really you're just risking it all and like trying it, you know what I mean? Like there's no, if you fail, you fail. If you get hurt, you get hurt. But
and what like surprised you the most about like training, like getting started in training?
What surprised me the most? I don't know, because I watched like a lot of wrestling videos on like training, so I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. If that makes sense.
Smart man looking before you jump right in.
Utilizing the age of information.
But I watched like crazy Japanese training videos, and I was like, oh my God, this is how it's going to be. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, honestly.
Interesting. That makes complete sense.
the Japanese like training videos are insane. They're doing like the most.
Yeah.
How do you balance like developing what is your own style versus like I'm sure you're coming across people all the time that you're like learning from. So like how do you balance like take what information you take in versus like, oh, I want to do this my way?
Oh, I'm still training every week, actually.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
a lot, even like the veterans, they still train every week.
Love that.
But I'm learning right now from MRB, Michael
Mhm.
Richard Blaze. He's my trainer right now. He's really good. He's been teaching me a lot and keeping me in good shape. Ninja Mac was really good to learn from. He taught me a lot,
Right.
mostly about merch. He's really about merch.
Yeah. And what did he impart on you?
Nothing. He'd just come to the back and he'd get mad at me and say, "Chris, why aren't you out there selling your merch?"
Aw.
But yeah, it's just like you learn every day. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
even
funny.
even Wes, even Wes. I had a tag match with Wes like maybe 2 months ago now,
Mm-hmm.
and he's so good. He doesn't even really plan the match. Like I'll show up at like 11 a.m. and he'll be training from 11 a.m. until like the show starts at like 7 p.m. And he'll make me get in there and train with
Insane.
him, and he'll like torture me. You know what I mean?
I bet.
Yeah.
That's some like
Madness.
Stu Hart like way of learning.
Swear.
Yeah, and we had a match recently. It kind of went wrong in Vancouver. So it was me and Wes and my buddy Draco versus the West Coast Heavies,
Mm.
and my buddy Dalton couldn't make it, so Draco was his replacement. But we're having the match, and the West Coast Heavies are supposed to go over. They're supposed to win,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a crossbody onto one of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I hit him in the nose by accident.
Oh
Yeah.
And it broke his nose, like Seth Rollins. Have you seen that, where his nose is like completely to the side? And I felt terrible, but he like ran to the back, and then Wes had to call on the fly. Like it was supposed to end, we put them in submissions, and then one of them rolls me up. But we ended up just having to win. And then Wes turns around when he made him tap out. Turns around, he looks at me, he goes, "Chris, that was a fucking shoot." And I started dying.
That's amazing. Oh, now that we've talked to him, like I
I
can
could see
100%
that.
see it. Yeah.
That is so funny. I said to him when we talked to him, I was like, you just seem like the wrestling man's wrestler. Like you just like
He
you are
definitely
just
is.
like the wrestler. Like I don't know. There's just something about him where I'm like, of course that happened. Like of course he said that. That is so funny.
Yeah, I
I
love
love
Wes
that.
for sure.
Such a great guy. I think it's so interesting that like you said you were like a bad kid in school, but you seem like such like an interested learner. Like you seem like a real student of wrestling, like in such a good way where like you're really trying to absorb a lot of things. And I do find I feel like the people who were not great necessarily in like a structured school environment like really thrive in like a different, like it's not that you don't want to learn, it's just you don't want to learn like that way. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it was like I only want to learn what like I'm interested in, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of
And like
course.
wrestling is what I love.
Right.
And it's
And I'm
like
not
back in
necessarily
school, it's
doing
like
that
I
in
don't care
school.
about this, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Like I don't need to do the quadratic formula for
Yeah.
crossbody. Like I'm gonna just do it and break somebody's nose and have a great time.
I felt so bad. I still feel so bad.
That must be crazy. I say this literally in every interview, but it is never lost on me how crazy wrestling is and like what you guys do, and I can't ever imagine doing it. Like it is really insane.
There is some scary moments, yeah.
So, and you are a high flying wrestler. Like you do a lot of like high risk maneuvers, and you also was it Canadian Deathmatch? Was that?
Yeah, in I think last month it was.
Oh yeah,
Insane.
I got some questions about that one.
I have a lot of questions.
Awesome.
So so good. Do you like consider yourself a hardcore wrestler, or are you just like you're dabbling in different mediums of wrestling?
I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more deathmatch wrestling. Like I like GCW, like I said before. That's my main goal in wrestling is to be there. And I've talked to a lot of people there, like Effie. I talk to him all the time. Ninja Mac, all these guys, and they gave me a lot of good advice before my death match and told
Yeah.
me what to do and what not to do. And then I wrestled this guy named Tyler Arrow for Canadian Deathmatch. He's really good. He's like a high flyer, just like me, but he can do the deathmatch stuff. And going into it, I was really scared. Like when we were making our entrances, I was like, "Fuck, what am I getting myself into?"
Yeah.
But he took really good care of me, and I have no complaints. It went really good.
Did you feel like you had to like go out there and like I don't know. I just feel like deathmatch crowds or like that are just they have an expectation and like did you feel like you had to like go out there and like prove yourself considering it was like your first outing?
Yeah, I did think that, and I think I did. Uh, there wasn't any glass allowed at the venue though, but
Fair.
so I did like barbed wire. I did some thumbtacks. Just
the the dart gun with
oh yeah, the dart gun.
The skewers was for it was the
quality.
skewers for me. I was like showing my brother-in-law. He was like, "You got anything like interesting coming up on the show?" I was like, "Oh yeah, we're interviewing Christian Starr and whatever." And I like was showing him clips, and he goes, "I was like, that's hard. That's a death match, baby." I was like, "You don't know about that." I was like, 'cause I showed him the skewers, and he was like, and I was like, "Yep, well, that's hardcore, baby."
Yeah, I got really lucky for my first death match because like Arrow was willing to take like most of it, and he was like, "I'm not gonna make you do anything you don't want to do." And I was like, "Okay, like I'll just take it easy for this first time." But my next time, I'm going back in a few months here. I think 2 months, and I'm gonna be doing light tubes, probably against Arrow again in a ring this time. And then I
that venue
have
was cool though.
oh yeah, it was really good. The deathmatch crowd is a lot different.
Yeah.
Like they're really lively and like they appreciate it a lot more.
And by the way, he says taking it easy, but he's out here like taking like back bumps on barbed wire. Like,
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like it's so the way that you speak about it is so casual, and like my heart is racing. It's like whoa. I mean, but yeah, like I think that's the beauty of wrestling is that it looks so crazy, but then you can still like you both walk away and you're like, hey, that was great. Like thanks for watching my back out there, even though you literally like took a back full of barbed wire. Like I just think that's like wrestling at like, and I'm not a wrestler, so I could know nothing. But it's like to me that's wrestling like at peak, where it's like it looked crazy and everyone was fine. Like,
but no, like she was saying, when you're in there, like when you're having a match like that, like you don't really feel anything just because the adrenaline.
right.
And even after, I still had adrenaline, so I didn't really feel it, and I was just like, "Fuck yeah, I did it," you know.
Yeah,
right.
totally.
And after a match like that, like the sense of relief is like, wow.
Yeah, I bet.
I can imagine that for sure.
So
And
like,
you're go ahead. Go ahead. I was just gonna say that your match with Ninja Mac was crazy and amazing.
Right.
So good.
Yeah, the back and forth from like what I saw like on the was quality, and you were taking some shots, so so it's good.
Well, Ninja Mac actually got there late. He got there like as the show was starting, and then I kind of planned that entire match except for the beginning.
Oh wow.
And but in Texas it was so hot, guys, that like I was so gassed after the first three moves. I was like dying.
It's over. No way.
Where do you find like do you enjoy planning the most like of a match? Like some people really enjoy like, oh, I always come in with a finish, or like some people really like planning like the beginning, or like is it the high spots? Like what do you go into a match being like, oh, I'm excited to try and sneak this in here?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a spot monkey, so I like to find the high spots.
Love that.
I've never heard that, a spot monkey. I love that. I see, again, I'm just like picking up like little, like the little vernacular. I learn something new every time. I'm like, oh, cool. Because like even a couple, when we interviewed the prospects, they were talking about how it's like classic. Wrestlers should always have their gear with them, even if they're not on the card, like just in case. And I was like, oh my God, that's genius. And then a different wrestler brought it up like recently. And I was like, yes, I know about this now. So spot monkey, love that.
That's great. And like, because the move you do is like the Spanish fly, and that's like probably my favorite wrestling move like ever. I don't know why it looks just so good every time. So I'm just like, I'm always just like, whenever wrestlers can sneak that in, I'm like, beautiful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So how did you get the name the Starchild? Is it just like, is your actual last name Starr? I'm so curious.
No, my actual last name isn't Starr, but
not to like pull the curtain back too much.
It's okay. But it was just like something we came up with in training. And back in the day, when I would like make my WWE character on a wrestling game, my name was Chris Starr, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna do Christian Starr then.
Love that.
And then my trainer said at training, he was like, oh, why don't you be the Starchild? And I was like, okay,
that's cool. That. And it feels like very appropriate to even just like that style of wrestling you do almost, because it's like there's like an airiness, there's like a shooting aspect to it, like the shooting star. Like I don't know, there's something there that like makes complete sense with like the levity, but also the integrity of the moves. I don't know if that makes sense. Now I feel like I'm just like throwing vocab words out, but like to me it just, you know what I mean? To me it just makes complete sense though, like with how you wrestle. I feel like it fits you very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I get that a lot.
Oh, good.
So you mentioned the deathmatch crowd was like different. Like you've gotten the chance to like wrestle in a few different like areas. Do you find like that the crowds are different like in those areas, like wrestling in Canada versus like Texas, that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, Texas is more of a lucha crowd,
right?
So, like Spanish crowd. They can be hard to get sometimes, especially if they don't know you. Like with my match with Mac, I was kind of discouraged when I first went out there because I've had one match there other than that one, but I don't think they really remembered me because this was in Victoria and the other one was in Houston.
Gotcha.
But so I was kind of discouraged, and then Ninja Mac came out, and of course he got a huge reaction, you know.
Yeah.
But then he even told me after the match, he was like, well, you earned their respect because after the match, it was like 40-60. And they were kind of mad that I won. And I was like, yeah.
Wow.
And the Canadian crowd, I mean, it's pretty easy down here because I'm always wrestling down here.
Right.
Especially Edmonton. But Ontario was like very welcoming. Like it was, I've never experienced a crowd like that. I don't know what it is about a deathmatch crowd. It's way different. And they're just chanting the whole time and just going nuts. And
I think there's like an appreciation for like, I think they know like what you're going out there to go do. And like, there is something about like knowing you're going out there to go like get hurt a little bit and still doing it anyway.
I mean, the word death is in the name,
right?
It's not like the fuzzy bunny match. Like it's
very true,
pretty intense. And I feel like because like deathmatch wrestling crowds, it's like there's like wrestling, and then that's like this, there's like a subsect, and they all know, like there's almost like an agreement between like what you guys give versus like what they're, I don't want to say expecting because that feels kind of intense, but like they chose to go there with the name the deathmatch. It's not like the casual wrestling fan. It's like there's like, it's like that subsect of people who are like, I want to see the death match. Like I want to see the crazy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it's interesting too, because now going to Japan, like you said, you watch like all these like crazy Japan like training videos, and like now you're going, which is so crazy and incredible. Like, do you feel like doing that type of match will like facilitate like your transition over there, or like more of your classic matches will help you, or like all together?
I think all together. I am going to be training down there with Taka Michinoku.
That's awesome.
At JTO.
Wow.
But I'm only going for like 2 weeks, so.
Okay.
But
listen, it's still you're going out there.
Yeah. But I think like the Ninja Mac match really prepared me because I talked to him a lot about Japan, and yeah, and it is a different crowd down there. Like they're very quiet out of respect.
Yes.
So
We talked about that with Robert Martyr, who we interviewed previously, and he's over in Japan now. And he
mhm.
had sent us like a women's match from Japan to watch. And I remember being like, it's so quiet. Like watching it, being like, it's so silent. And then out of the blue, like they'll erupt like as one. And it's like, I just can't, it must be such an insane feeling. Like where it's like there's such a respect, but it's also so quiet. And then to just have that reaction, I don't know. The style of Japanese wrestling is just very fascinating to me. But yeah.
Yeah, it's very different for sure. And Robert
Yeah.
Martyr's a cool guy. I talk to him sometimes too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great
very
guy.
cool. What are you like looking forward to most? Like either in like wrestling wise or just being in Japan? Like what are you looking forward to? Like there's gotta be a list.
Um, I don't know. I'm just excited to explore Japan and like I want to go to like Ribera and all those places. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
All those wrestling spots. Um, I'm honestly more excited just to be there than to wrestle.
I love
Gotcha.
that.
Like,
I so get that.
but I'm hoping here that I get a few more bookings down there. Since
Right.
we're going for a while, me and my buddy from Texas, Alex Ray, is his
Mm,
name. Um, but yeah, I guess we'll see here.
I love that.
That's really exciting.
Very exciting.
Are there any like gimmick matches you are like dying to get to do? Like just I want to be in like a ladder match or something like that you haven't gotten a
Um,
chance to do yet.
so far for gimmick matches, I've only done like a no ring and a ladder match. Uh, I guess I've done a tables and chairs match, but I'd really like to do a steel cage or a
Ooh.
light tube death match.
Oh,
Those are
where
like
they're like all hanging.
yeah,
Oh,
or
that's
no
insane.
rope bar.
Those are Kelsey's flabbergasted. Look at her.
Well, because the light tube, I don't know if I'm familiar with that.
Oh, I can show you some of that. That's like super intense, but it's a great visual. Like whenever you see it, just because it's like one, they're huge, and two, the way that they like explode and smoke is like insane. Do you have any like people that are like you're really trying to like get in there like with?
Well, now that I've had the Ninja Mac match, I really want to wrestle Dante Leone for
Nice.
Loco.
Mm,
Um, Blake Christian at GCW would be cool.
That would be
yes.
awesome.
Um,
I think that would be a fun one. That would be a fast one, but
oh yeah.
Oh,
it
yeah.
would be fun.
Um, I want to wrestle this guy named Brandon St. James. I don't know if
Okay.
you know who that is. He does Canadian Deathmatch and a few
Ooh,
others.
wow.
Yeah, he's really good. Um, Stephen Crow here at Love Pro.
Ooh.
I really want to wrestle him. And
Well, that one seems likely, right? You're both there.
oh yeah, it'll happen for sure. It was supposed to happen last month, but just didn't work out.
Wow. Do you feel like who you are in the ring is very different from who you are in your day-to-day life? Like do you feel like when you go through the curtain like you activate something different, or like you said, you don't even really feel it because of the adrenaline? Like do you feel like who you are as a wrestler is different from who you are in your day-to-day?
Well, they say like it's you turned up to 100. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um,
Mhm.
I feel like that wrestler like when I'm just working out or thinking about it. Like I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I think every day I'm that guy. But like in the
Mm.
ring, of course, I'm gonna act a bit different and be a bit serious and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's it's all of the things that you do every day that go into the
Yeah.
guy that shows up in the ring. Because you gotta maintain, I'm sure, a lot to be able to just do what you do in there all the time, and
Oh,
take care of yourself. Um, Very cool.
And I feel like because And I think this a lot when I watch wrestling, where it's like, you really do tell a story with your body as opposed to your words. Like, so it's not like you're getting in there and going like here, like sometimes, yes, obviously there's promos, there's shoots, there's things like that. But like for the most part, it's your body and like the moves that are telling the story. So inherently it feels like you have to turn up like your body language like so much just to be able to tell a story. So that makes complete sense to me, that it's just like, it's me, but it's also like me up here.
That's true, but there is a lot that goes into professional wrestling that like, so you have to remember a whole match while you're out there. You have to, if you don't remember anything, you have to communicate to your opponent.
Yeah.
You have to be vocal with the crowd and make sure that they're feeling it. And yeah, and the body language and stuff like you said, but there's a lot of things that go into it.
It feels like so much like mental gymnastics, like in Congress with your actual physical gymnastics. Like it just feels like, like I say this every interview, I'm like, do people like, I'm like, does everyone know about this? To me it's the craziest thing people do, that it's like, it's so much, again, like mental math to go with like how physically you do wrestling. Like it's so insane to me. So congratulations on being cool. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely mental and physical. Like, I don't know if you saw that interview with Logan Paul. He was talking about like it's the hardest sport he's ever done.
Yeah,
it's just so much to remember.
Yeah, and like he gets like mad time to like practice. You know what I mean? Like there's like people who don't get that, like most wrestlers don't get the luxury of like the time that he has between matches to like prepare for these sorts of things.
That's true.
So it's like most people like show up to like work and they're like, this is the card. You know what I mean? And then you figure it out from there. So like it's even like more on the fly and more just like you have to, I feel like the level of trust there has to be like insane, because it's like, oh, we're gonna plan this thing and then we just have to trust each other to just make it happen, and like we're gonna be safe.
I've had a few matches where we don't even plan, or the guy shows up 5 minutes before your match and you're like, oh my god, like what are we gonna do?
So in that scenario, like how you just have to be a good listener, I get? Like what are you?
Yeah, you have, usually it's a veteran that just shows up late because they don't care. And they just say, yeah, just talk out there, just listen, and then they just tell you, oh, do this next, do that next, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you have been wrestling for like your debut, I kind of looked it up on, I think it was Cage Match. It says 3 years. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I debuted with Monster Pro Wrestling in 2022.
Okay.
I don't really count that though, because
okay.
I don't know, I wasn't fully trained. It was like I was training for like a few weeks and then they just threw me in there.
Whoa.
Sure.
And
talk about baptism by fire.
I was not good. Do not watch that match. But then after a few months, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to an actual school here, and I went to Top Talent, and yeah.
So do you feel like at this, because it's still pretty new, do you feel comfortable like calling a match like if you need to, or is it still kind of like, well, I gotta like?
Well, the heel calls the match.
Oh, okay.
And, maybe I'm giving too much of an insider scoop here to you.
Oh no, it's fine. It's funny because I've heard like different things. Like I've heard like the veteran calls or the like.
Oh yeah, the veteran or the heel.
Yeah. Interesting.
But no, I don't think I'm ready to call the whole match yet. Like that's one thing I have been practicing at training and being taught is like calling on the fly and like just thinking on the fly and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't done it before, but maybe in the future.
Yeah, interesting. That to me is the scariest thing. Like when people like other wrestlers are like, yeah, sometimes like somebody shows up like 5 minutes before and we're like, all right, well, here we're gonna have a match. I'm like, I would pass out. Like I would be so scared to do that.
Well, thankfully, one thing I always do is I write down my ideas for a match, or I write down some spots that I want to get in. And then even if they don't want to use all of the spots or all the ideas, I at least have them just in case, you know what I
Right.
mean? Or if they're
Yeah.
late, then like Ninja Mac was a bit late, and then he was like, oh, what did you want to do anything? And then I just told him everything I wanted to do, and we pretty much did everything I wanted to do. So
Oh,
Wow.
love that. But you never
That's
know
so
when an
cool.
opportunity like that's gonna like, you know, present itself.
yeah,
It's like better to be prepared.
That's brilliant. I love that. And I love just like the idea of like you envisioning, like if you know who you're going to fight, it's like, okay, like what would I want to do with this wrestler
oh
specifically?
yeah,
And like what do I want to do to like try something or like showcase something? I think that's so brilliant. And I think I love like the thoughtfulness of it, because I feel like if I came in and you were like, these are some things I was thinking about, I'd be like, that's awesome. Like that's really cool. Like thanks for doing that. I love that.
yeah. I always watch their matches beforehand, and then just like come up with ideas, or like, and even if they don't want to use all of them.
Do you still watch wrestling? Because I've heard it both ways, where it's like I live it every day, I don't always have time to watch it, or I constantly am watching wrestling at any moment, all the time.
Right.
Um, I do watch it,
Mm-hmm.
but mostly like to watch like my opponents, or like I don't know. I kind of once I started wrestling, I kind of just like stopped watching it religiously like I used to.
Yeah.
And I know that's not good, and like I should keep up with everything.
Oh, I
But
mean, you're literally living it, so
You're also doing homework. Like I feel like you're using it more like study or homework than
yeah,
like
before it was like a hobby, and it was like I don't even have to think about it. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
just
yeah,
watch and I enjoy it. But now, whenever I watch it, it's like I'm picking it apart, and then it just becomes like work for me. You know?
I get
yeah.
that.
Because I feel like a lot of professional athletes, it's like we're watching the tapes, like we're watching tapes of other teams, we're watching tapes of like who are playing now, like whatever. So to me, that it makes sense, because like I don't know how often like professional athletes have time to just like casually watch basketball or like whatever. So it to me
Right.
that makes sense, where it's like, oh, I'm watching wrestling, but I'm watching it because I am intaking information and I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes complete sense to me. And again, like you're literally living it, so it's like, makes complete sense to me.
So where do you like we're like 3 years in, so where do you see yourself in the next like 3 years? Like where are you trying like what are you trying to hit in the next like couple of years to get you to your goal of GCW?
Well, I want to do a lot more death matches, and then hopefully I get my name out there, and I can do tournament of survival or tournament of death.
Ooh,
Those are some of my goals.
Love that.
so
Um,
crazy.
or just like having crazy high flying matches with like these guys, you know what I mean? And then being noticed, and maybe going to Japan, doing best of super juniors or something. Like that's
Wow.
my goal.
Love
Wow.
that.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I feel like it's so funny because to me, and I hope you don't mind, I feel like you're so very sweet. Like he just seems to have like such a sweet demeanor. And I was like, and it's always
Thank you.
like the real like I feel like the people who really want to go for the death matches have like the gentlest spirits. Like I feel like because like you are so like stalwart and calm and like sweet, and then you like put it all out there for like the survival matches, the death matches. Like I feel like that has been true for me for people I've spoken to. Do you
Oh
feel like
yeah,
that's true?
all the death matchers like at Canadian Death Match, like they were so nice, and it was like so welcoming, and
Oh,
it was just different, you know. Like
yeah.
I
I
haven't
love that.
experienced a locker room like that before.
Oh, I love that.
Wow, that's so
Mm.
awesome. Is there when you go to a match, is there or like you see a card, like who is a wrestler like when you see them on the card, even if you're not wrestling them, that you're like, oh yes, like I'm excited to be in the building with them, I'm excited to be in the locker room with them, or I'm just like excited to see them.
Prospector, who else? Son of Irish.
Ooh,
You know who that is.
yeah,
Um, Dalton Rogue. He's my tag team partner.
Hmm.
love that.
Um, who else? T.Y. Jackson.
Ooh,
Um, these are just some people like around the Canadian area that I really
yeah,
like
I love that. And
just
do
being
you,
around.
because you brought up your tag team partner, do you like tag wrestling or do you prefer to be like solo?
Honestly, right now I like doing my solo thing. We're both doing our own different things right now.
Mm-hmm.
He got an injury like
Okay.
a few months ago. He just came back recently. So
Okay.
I think we're gonna start tagging again, probably in Vancouver, and then like maybe Calgary. But yeah, it's all right. But I prefer like doing my own thing. You know what I mean, and
Totally.
not having to agree on everything.
Yes.
Like he wants to do like this Michael Jackson dance entrance, and I'm like, that's not me, brother. That doesn't work for me.
Hey, no, no thanks.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to pass on that.
That's amazing.
That's so funny.
and
Uh,
it was so funny because everyone at Vancouver is like, you guys need to do that. And I felt like they're just ribbing us, you know what I
right.
mean? Just like playing a joke on
Yes.
us. And prospectors trying to teach me how to dance and
Oh
like
wow.
doing the dance with us and stuff.
Unbelievable.
That's amazing.
And you're like, I have my boundaries, and that's
Yeah,
like, I cannot transgress that
I was
far.
like,
That
guys, I'm trying to be a more serious wrestler. I was like, this is not for me.
this can't. Yeah, this will blot my image, and I certainly cannot.
But they made
That.
me do it, so.
Oh my god, you're a good
Oh,
sport. That's so
yeah, I
fun.
mean, yeah, I feel like you gotta be really.
And
Yeah.
I mean, and you were outnumbered. It's not fair.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. What? So this is gonna come out on the 3rd. So what do you have coming up? Like, let the people know where you're gonna be.
Um, Tomorrow I have Clandestine and Love
Mm,
Pro. I'm
Nice.
wrestling for the Clandestine Championship of Salvation
I did
in
see
a
wow.
that.
in a 5-way elimination against Zoe Sager, my trainer Michael Richard
Whoa.
Blaze, Taryn from accounting, and the new trainee Scotty Ace.
Heard.
Wow.
And then Friday I have Love Pro, LPW 38, I think it is. I'm wrestling Rose. I don't know if you know who that is. Nasty Nate Nixon, William
Mm,
Taylor,
wow.
and who are the other two? And Taryn.
Nice.
Wow.
All right, everybody. This is going to do it for this edition of the New to Wrestling Podcast After Dark with our special guest, Christian Starr. Thank you so much for listening, watching, subscribing wherever you find us, and be on the lookout for Christian Starr wherever he's going to be wrestling. For Kelsey and Christian, I'm Xavier, and we'll catch you on the next one.
We'll see
Thank you
you there.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.